KDP, Amazon, and you go to Pub-It and Barnes & Nobles. Kobo has their version now that anybody can upload to. Apple has theirs. I haven't tried it, I have to say that. I hear a lot of people say it's difficult, and you have to have a Mac in order to upload on it. So if you're thinking of doing to Apple directly, count on having to have a Mac to do that. Otherwise, you can go through Smashwords. Smashwords has a way of converting to all the other and distributing to all the other sites that you want them to. CreateSpace is where you do your print books, and there are other places like Diesel, and Google's got their own book publishing things. I haven't done those. You can go through Smashwords to get to those. So look at Smashwords. And you can opt out of some of the distribution channels. Like I opt out of Barnes & Nobles because I can go out there and load it directly. I opt out of Kobo because I can go and load it directly. But again, you see how much work this is? So if you're really thinking about self-publishing, consider the amount of work it is. If you've never published before, go try your hand at some of the e-publishers to get started, because it really helps you to learn the business of this. What else? There's a piece of data. I already tried it. It was an important piece. Any questions about that? Was that too much? Did that kind of overwhelm you a little bit? It's a lot. It's a lot to do the formatting. Delilah will cover the other side of after you've published.
Well, promotion actually should start before you publish, okay? Before you publish, when you're still, thinking about who you want to be as a writer, you want to start connecting with an audience, you want to start building your platform. The first thing you should do is get a website up. And you can do it easily and cheaply. Set up a WordPress site. You can use one of their pre-made templates, or if you have any Photoshop skills whatsoever, you can put together the artwork to make yours a little individualized. But definitely get a website up. It's very important. It's the most important tool you'll have after you're published as well to advertise your books. And when agents and editors, if you submit to them rather than to self-publish, that's one of the first things they'll do is they'll look up your website and see what it is you're doing or what you're talking about. Okay? So that is the number one thing as a writer you have to do is have a website.
A website makes you bona fide.
Yeah. After that, then you've got to think about social media, how it is that you're going to connect with an audience. A lot of people say blogs are dead. They're time-consuming, a waste of time for a writer. There's more efficient ways to get yourself out there. Personally, I have a blog that gets anywhere between 400 and 1,000 hits a day, the page downloads a day, from as many as 450 unique visitors each day. But you have to be consistent with your blogs. You have to make them interesting. I'm not the most interesting person in the world, but I have guests come and visit with me so that there's always something different and something new happening. I share bits about myself, about my life, with my readers, and they seem to like it. When I travel, I bring back gifts and stuff to give away, so I'm always running contests, so that they come back and they look to see, well, what is she giving away now? Because I consistently have contests running to attract them back. And while they're looking at my blog, guess what? They'll see the little advertisements down the side for all the books that I have coming out, and they'll start hopping around until they see something that catches their eye. So a blog can be a very valuable tool, but the thing is you have to commit to it. And if you don't want to do it every day, you at least got to commit to, I'm going to do it on Mondays and Wednesdays, or I'm going to just do it on weekends. But readers will figure out what your schedule is, and they'll know to come back and check your website, okay? Commit to being consistent. If you can't commit to maybe more than 1 or 2 days a month of blogging, you might want to join a group blog. We belong to Wild and Wicked Cowboys, and I post twice a month on that blog. But you're sharing all those authors' audience. So you might attract new readers simply because somebody who reads Ella James will see my blog post and decide that, oh, I need to go try her book, and so I've grabbed her reader. Okay, so think about group blogs or guesting on other people's. So, if you become a published author and you want to come visit my site, I'm always putting out calls for guests. So you can come visit on my site and talk about your book or about your writing experience, that sort of thing. But yeah, blogging, websites, very important. Then there's other social media, which I'm not quite as qualified as you to speak about. Brenda's always, giving us great information about that. But you need to choose what you're comfortable doing online, okay? Facebook and Twitter are very powerful tools. Facebook, if you like to take a little bit more time, have a little bit longer word count that you can work with to post a message, want to post pictures that they can see right there on the page, you can build an audience that way. Right now I've got okay, be careful when you set it up as a fan site. I've got 5,200 friends, and I can't add any more friends to my Facebook page. So now I have my friends page plus my fan page, which has 1,000 people on it now too. So you can build an audience, and these are people who are going to be interested in what you're doing. If I come to this book signing today, I wrote about it this morning, about going into the television station for an interview with my sister, and later I'll go ahead and post that link so people can go out and look at it, and they can, they feel involved with you. They feel like they know you, and they really do. I mean, in the sense that they know what your life's about, they know what your interests are. So you're sharing part of yourself with them, and readers connect. If they can connect with you as a person, they'll be more likely to support your work. Okay? So Facebook is very powerful, and you can link your Facebook to Twitter so that every time you post a new post, it will automatically post to Twitter. I'm not as comfortable on Twitter. I have a Twitter account and I use it. And sometimes if I'm watching like an awards show and I'm making fun of somebody's hair, or, oh my God, did she really try to hit that note? I'll put that on Twitter. But you're constrained by, 140 characters. So, if you think in sound bites, and that's the way that, you're more comfortable communicating, use Twitter, because it's very powerful too, and you can get a huge audience that way.
A word of warning on social media, though, don't always just go, my book, my book, my book,
Yes.
my book, my book.
Yeah.
Yes.
People get tired of that, they turn you off. Like
Right.
she said,
Because if it's
fly
constant
to life,
promotion, and it's like,
travel.
talk about yourself,
Yeah.
talk about your life,
Social media is a conversation.
Yes.
Facebook is a conversation. If all you're doing on Facebook is saying, I'm writing today, or I'm publishing today, or I'm speaking today, I don't care. But if you go out there and somebody says, my dad's sick or whatever, and you put a note saying, hey, I'm sorry, you're in my thoughts or whatever,
Yeah.
it's a give and take.
The day before yesterday, I posted a message that said, my 93-year-old grandmother just brought me fresh cinnamon rolls downstairs to my office, and you'd not believe the number of comments I got about, I'm so envious, Tell her she can come live with me,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Twitter and Facebook are very powerful tools. Online ads, if you're a new writer and you don't really know the best review sites to get posted on, I'm not sure of the value of online ads. You need to know what are the most popular review sites to go out to, and that changes because for a long time, Smart Bitches or whatever they're called, they're a big site, okay,
Smart bitches or trashy.
Trashy, whatever.
Smart bitches love trashy.
It's a horrible site, okay? I don't like Mean Girls anyway, and this was a Mean Girls site, but they attracted a lot of attention. So a lot of people were advertising with them, but do you really want to be associated with, smart, snarky, nasty women? Be careful, when you advertise for someone else.
That's what you write.
Yeah, well, if that's what you write. If you write snarky, bitchy women, then maybe that's exactly the perfect site for you. Things fall in and out of fashion. You don't know how big, you can't really count on how big an audience they have. So make sure that when you're spending your money, that you do a little bit of research to understand who it is they're reaching. For instance, if you know that this person is doing very well in this particular market, you might want to go out and check her website or see where it is that she's advertising, because you could learn something from her, okay? See what worked for her. But I just, if you're constantly spending $300 here, $200 there, it can get very, very pricey trying to advertise your book. Likes and tags. It's an annoying thing, okay? You go out to Amazon and you want to have as many of those little like buttons clicked and you want as many, tags that you've listed below that, yeah, my book is a Western, it's cowboys, it's, a police drama, it's this and that, because you want people who go into Amazon and say, suspense. And you want your book to be automatically one of the first ones that's up there on that, that,
Selection.
yeah, the
It brings up
selection.
the selections, yeah.
Yeah, so, and the more tags and likes you have, the higher up that list you will be, okay? So that's why when you see authors constantly out there saying, hey, I have a new book out, could you go and click on the likes and tags, and I'd be very appreciative. That's why they're trying to do it, is to make sure that their book will move up that list so that other readers can find it when they type in those meta tag descriptions. And then again, you have to worry about people getting really bored with, every other week, which is me. Asking for likes and tags on new books if you've got books releasing every 2 weeks, which is me. Then you've got reviews.
This is part of self-publishing that is the hard part as well.
Yes, if you have an e-publisher or you have a traditional publisher, a lot of times they will take care of the legwork of finding the most valuable places to have your books reviewed. Okay? They'll know that, we want to go to this market, so we'll send it to Just Erotic Romance and have them review the book. And they'll send it for you. As a self-pub author, you're going to find a very limited selection of review sites that will be willing to review you, unless you already have an established platform and they know you. Okay? Because they're probably getting hit with 1,000 people a week saying, I have this new self-published book, and yes, you don't know me, but if you read the book, I know you're going to love me. Would you please review my book?
My mom loved it.
Yes. So they're going to be very selective. And so you might have to do things, alternative things, like ask people within your writing group. Are you willing to read my book and give me an honest review of my book? Ask friends. We have a difficulty now on Amazon as authors asking other authors to review us, because Amazon has gone in and said, if you're an author, guess what? You're not reviewing other people's books. So even though I don't know Jenny Cruzy personally, if I go out and I read a Jenny Cruzy book and I really, really love it, I can't say a word about it on Amazon because I'm an author, okay? So you've got to look outside of your author friends for people who are willing to review your book. And if you can make online, for instance, if you are somebody who has hung out on a particular loop, a particular review site loop like Romance Junkies, and they've known you as a reader for the longest time, and maybe you've shared a little bit of your struggles, I'm becoming a writer and I'm trying to find, they'll give you encouragement, but guess what? When the day comes for you to say, I have somebody interested in publishing my book, or hey, I've taken the plunge and I'm self-publishing, they know you personally because you've done that, you've made that connection with other readers. And so you can ask them, is somebody willing to review my book? I'll give you a free copy if you'll do that for me. Okay, so reviews are important, because if you go out to Amazon, I know I'll look to make sure, unless it's somebody that I absolutely trust as a writer, if I'll look at the reviews that other people have written, I take them with a grain of salt. I'll read them and I'll look for, how did that person respond to that book? What about that book turned them off before I decide I'll buy? So reviews are extremely important. And you don't just want anybody to review, you want somebody who's going to give you a good review. It's hard when you're asking somebody to be honest, You have to know whether or not they like you. You don't want to give a book to somebody who doesn't like you, who's going to take the opportunity to trash you, okay? All right.